There's a major massacre. Muslims died, Jews died, even some Eastern Christians who the Europeans didn't recognize as Christians died. And the chroniclers, from the Crusaders' perspective, present this as vengeance for the blasphemy that these Saracens had done to Jesus' holy city of Jerusalem.
4.5 centuries earlier, Jerusalem had surrendered to the second Caliph of Islam, Omar. But in 1099, as Muslims sought to confront the marauding Crusaders, Islam faced a burning question. Where was the Caliph?
The Abbasids at that point had no military force which they could have sent. The Fatimid Caliphate, they had lost their Syrian lands to local warlords. So when they saw the Crusaders coming in, they probably were quite happy to see that these usurpers were now facing a major problem with these clearly quite strong military contingents moving in from Europe.
Large areas of the Levant were occupied, divided by the Christians into 4 distinct fiefdoms. But after half a century of Crusader success, Muslims slowly began to fight back. But it was not the caliphs who led the fight. Damascus, Syria. In the middle of the 12th century, this city was the capital of the Zingids, a Turkic dynasty founded by Ahmed ad-Din, the governor of northern Levant. In 1144, he had secured the first Muslim victory against the Crusaders.
وأول إمارة تحررت هي إمارة الرها. شعر المسلمون بهذا الانتصار أن بإمكان الأمة الإسلامية أن تقاوم، فكأنه أعطى أمل بأننا بإمكاننا أن نحرر أرضنا.
In 1146, Nur ad-Din succeeded his father in the struggle against the Crusaders in the Levant. 2 decades later, he would be fighting them over another prize.
هنا الصليبيون تحرشوا بمصر. طلب الحاكم الفاطمي من نور الدين زنكي أن يساعده في مواجهة الصليبيين، فأرسل له أسد الدين شيركو، وتعني كلمة شيركو في اللغة الكردية الأسد.
After 5 years of battle, Shirko, Nur ad-Din's Kurdish general, succeeded both in defeating the Crusaders and seizing control of the Fatimid Caliphate. He was succeeded by his nephew, Salah ad-Din, the man known to the West as Saladin.
Salah ad-Din started his political career as the wazir of the Fatimids, so he had to acknowledge the supremacy of the Fatimid Caliph for 2 years.
But in 1171, Salah ad-Din switched his allegiance, bringing an end to 2.5 centuries of the Fatimid Caliphate and declaring Egypt's loyalty to the Abbasid Caliph in Baghdad.
Why Salah ad-Din did this is that most certainly Salah ad-Din had one problem, that he had no legitimacy. So the main selling point for Salah ad-Din throughout his career was the Abbasid Caliphate.
The Karak Castle, Jordan, one of the largest Crusader forts in the Levant. From this powerful position, the Crusaders began to harass Muslim trade caravans, threatening even Mecca itself.
Salah ad-Din unified the Syrian and Egyptian political landscape, and the only remaining non-Salah ad-Din or non-Ayyubid polities were the Crusader states. So it was natural for him to move against them.
In July 1187, here in northern Palestine, at a place known as the Horns of Hattin, Salah ad-Din's forces crushed the Crusaders. Four months later, Jerusalem surrendered. This time, not to an Arab Caliph, but to a Kurdish Sultan.
العبرة بالسلطان، مش عبرة بكلمة خليفة وغير خليفة. خليفة العباسي كان مهملا، كان ضعيفا، كان غير مكترث بشؤون المسلمين بشكل عام، لكن صلاح الدين أثبت وجوده، قام بواجبه، فأصبح هو الحاكم.
The defeat at Hattin was a turning point for the Crusaders. Driven back to a strip of Mediterranean coastline, they consolidated their position with massive castles at strategic points like Sidon in Lebanon. But just as this threat to the Islamic world was subsiding, a danger of even greater proportions was gathering strength. This time, in the east. An ancient school in Baghdad, built by the Abbasid Caliph Al-Mustansir. It was part of a desperate effort to recapture the golden age of the early Abbasid Caliphate. In 1242, Al-Mustasim succeeded his father as the 37th Caliph. But he would soon face a new danger: the approaching Mongol hordes.
Invasions by the Mongols overall was seen as a major turning point in Middle Eastern history. And when the Mongols came, there was a clear sense of the way of how things had been, they will not continue to be.
In January 1258, the Mongols reached Baghdad. Within 2 weeks, the Abbasid capital had been brought to its knees. The Caliph Al-Mustasim was executed. The great city reduced to ashes. A 500-year caliphate had come to an end.
It was a moment that was both a watershed, but also a confirmation of a situation which had actually existed for quite a long time. Some scholars have argued that it was of not any great significance because the real power of the Abbasids had faded away hundreds of years ago, and they were just sitting around in their Baghdad palace, and that their existence had very little meaning for the majority of Muslims.
Islam was now in peril. The only remaining hope was the new sultans of Egypt, the Mamluks. Brought as slaves from Central Asia to form an army for the Ayyubids, they had supplanted Salah ad-Din's dynasty. In September 1260, here at Ain